Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys today about our latest build, which is building a dream online community with Circle.so. Um, we're honestly going to do this off camera because we've been discussing about this for a while now inside the community about our new upcoming and exciting community migration to a new platform. But somewhere along the lines, I was thinking like, wow, like this could actually be something very informative for anybody out there that's also looking to build a community space for their own, for the community that they want to help nurture, right? Like-minded people like them. So I thought it would be a fantastic idea to come on our live stream and build this up live with you guys to show you really what's the thought process behind a lot of our decision making in how we organize spaces, how we make it so that people are going to be living their best life inside the spaces that we create, and making sure that we're nurturing like the ideal set of circumstances for everyone to be their best self and their most authentic self in order to come together and really thrive in an online space. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into our introduction so that you can see exactly how we plan to build this out, so you know what you're going to learn while you're watching this live stream today with us. So switching over now, we have a normal process that we go in when we go into our live streams, where we talk about the why, what, and how. And we do this so that it's really easy for anybody who is watching our stream, who is trying to learn from our process, learn from the way that we do things, to understand really how they can also benefit from a live stream and what they can expect from this session, from this 1 hour session. So why? Well, our existing community platforms are really too cluttered and our members are lost. So right now we run our community off Guilded. We are a partner at Guilded, and right now what happens is it's like Discord, you can think of it that way, but gamified, right? So the team over at Guilded are fantastic people, and they've really designed an amazing interface that allows you to have the benefits of Discord, but also with some gamification elements, which we love because we are more or less a gamified community. We want to help people really integrate in a kind of like a fun way where people feel like they're part of a gamified journey where we're on adventures together, we're leveling up, and how can we make that a very conducive experience for us to really motivate us to do our to live our best life, right? But the challenge is it's all basically chat channels, right? And we have a lot of different channels that end up being that are very sparse, and a lot of them have different specific uses, and it makes it really hard for people to really find what they need most, especially when we have so many different subspaces even within the main Coix3 family community. So what we decided was pretty important for us to do early on was we wanted to make sure that we really need to have very specific areas or specific spaces that would enable certain feelings or invoke certain experiences for our members, like having a sense of belonging, right? How can I, within the first, few hours of joining the community, first few minutes of joining the community, already feel like I'm at home? Usually we hit that point once people join our Sunday council meetings, which are every Sunday at around 9 a.m. Eastern. But how do we get that in the week if people are joining on the Monday, if they're joining on a Tuesday, if they're joining on a Thursday? How do we get them to, really feel like part of the community from like really early on? So that's the first thing. A space that enables conversations. Well, if I have a space that is having a lot of overlapping conversations, it's really hard for people to have, really deep threaded discussions. So we really want to have that as well. And then finally, a space that enables co-creation. How can we help everyone come together and build something really cool together? That's also another space that needs to be built. So how we're going to do this today is I want to basically show you the end-to-end process of how I would think about building a community from scratch. Again, I wish I had this process. I wish I could have shown this process with you guys when I first created the community, way back when, I guess 3 years back now, when we first moved to Guilded from our initial community space. But I want to really give you guys a really deep insight into how I think about it now, 3 years into building a community, 3 years into understanding how the community kind of dynamics work. And hopefully you learn something new from understanding, how we plan, how we determine what spaces are needed inside the community itself, how do we implement the needed spaces, and then how do we determine what tags or roles we would need in order to make the space succeed. And then finally, probably we're gonna have another live stream about this. We want to determine what workflows are needed, and that could be the next live stream. And I'm very excited to show you what that will all look like. So jumping in now, basically we've created some tasks to help us really figure out what we want to do with the Circle community, and we have some brainstorming here just to get this a little bit up and going before this live stream itself. But basically we want to just figure out what are most important spaces that people are already currently using inside Guilded, and make sure that they're represented inside the Circle space as well. So we basically had a list of different spaces that we thought were super important, different channels, I guess you can call them that, and we listed them all down. Then we started thinking about like, okay, what can Circle, this new community platform, do that we couldn't do previously, right? So we can have new spaces that maximize our user engagement. So they can do, a post channel, right? They can do events channel, they can do a chat channel, they can do a course channel, a members channel, and live room, and so on and so forth, right? So just opening it up and showing you for a second, right? So thanks. So right now we're on the example version of our community. We're building it up. This is in draft mode basically. And what we see right now is that there's, let me just show you all the different channels that we can possibly have. So if we want to add a space, so after post, events, chat, course, and members, and basically just to help you guys see as well, for posts, for example, it's like this, right? You can just start a post, and it's like Facebook. You can see like a post that comes up and people can comment under. So I think someone did like a test one. So let's see, where's the test one? Yeah, there's a test one somewhere. Although let me just do a test one now. So for example, I might have a test one here. So I'm gonna create a test post. So test post, hello world. And the idea is that once I publish this, people can comment on here. So it's very, very nice. So that's the first type of space. But the thing is, for posts, actually, what I found out recently is you can actually have this a few different ways. So for example, if I go ahead and set the customization, I can have a post that's a feed view or a list view or a card view. So a feed view basically will be more Facebook centric. A list view will be more like a forum. You can think of a forum. So that's pretty nice. And that card view is more like a gallery view to show like different resources. So I think that's also super nice as well. We should definitely use that. So these are all the different ways we can show this post space. The next one is events. So right now, this is a list of events. There's no calendar view, unfortunately, at least what we can see. So right now, it's just a list view like this. Actually, let me check out this and customize. Yeah, it is only a list view, unfortunately. So whenever new things come up, they'll pop up like this. And whenever an event is happening, it will stay on the bottom left. So I think that's actually pretty nice in itself. The next thing is the chat. So personally, this is just my own personal feeling on this, but right now it's just a worse version of Slack. But overall time, they're going to get better. But the chat is definitely just something new that they've created. So we are excited to see what they come up with next. But the chat version right now isn't very, very strong. But hopefully as we go on, we'll see better implementations of that, and we'll see how to use that for ourselves as well. The course is just really a course that people can go through to learn something new. So I think we actually are going to have a pretty interesting use case for a course inside our Circle community. So I'm excited about that. We're going to show you how that works. Members, seemingly there's a members list. So you can see like different members that may have like a similar interest as you, or different members are part of a certain space. That's just a really cool way for us to present some information, I think. The live room is basically where we're going to just go live for like co-working and stuff. So I think that's also nice as well. So then we started thinking about like, well, how do we organize our spaces into different groups, right? Do we organize them by each world boss? Do we organize them by our verticals? Each world boss basically means like, hey, if we're working on, for example, the Coaster Academy, if we're working on Make for Fun, if we're working on Coaster Toolbox, maybe that's each a space group, and then each of them has their own announcements, has their own task list, has their own, community discussion channel, give feedback, whatever. We thought that was way too complicated. That's definitely way too complicated. It doesn't make sense. You might infinitely scale, and that's not going to be a very holistic way of seeing your spaces. So when we thought about like, well, how about on verticals, right? So we have like a knowledge vertical, we have an action vertical, we have a community vertical. Maybe within each one, as long as I'm interested in one part of knowledge, I might be interested in more parts of knowledge, right? So keeping them all integrated together may be more interesting as well. So that's the next thing that we thought about. And then after that, we were like, okay, well, what types of spaces should we need, right? Well, we definitely need some kind of resources, start here section. And we thought maybe that could be like a course, right? So you can watch this, start like this, and then it's like a 5-minute course, right? You don't need to be too much, but you have like different sections of different content you can digest in order to pass the onboarding stage and then get into the main community. I think that could be pretty cool. Having an announcement space, events calendar, introductions, life in motion, help desk, etc. And these are all like kind of consolidated spaces, right? So they will, you can have events calendar for all the different kinds of events happening across the community. It could be help desk across everything in their community, so on and so forth. So I think that's pretty cool. And then last thing we thought about was like, okay, how do we gamify the user experience like a guild? Like a guild in a game, right? So you first submit your application, then you introduce yourself, then you perhaps get support, right? You can get resources, you can ask for help, you can join a party. Then you make friends, right? How do you make friends? So these are all the different ways that you think about like kind of joining a guild inside a game. Like this is the kind of flow. How do we make that, representative in our community space as well? So with all that set up, you can kind of think about like a lot of like thinking went into like the decision making behind what spaces we need. And I want to talk a bit about, the spaces we have already discussed so far now. And I'm going to show you perhaps like how I use Notion to help me plan this out, because I think it's really important for us to think of it this way. Or maybe there's a few best practices that I know here that hopefully will help you when you think about your community space, or even if you are part of our community and you're thinking about how to help us, plan more spaces that will make it more and more intentional for you to find that sense of belonging, to be able to find the friends that you need and co-create together something new, something exciting, something that is going to help change the world in some meaningful way. So before I get started to the next phase, remember to drink some water, and we're going to jump right in real soon. All right, guys. So let's get started. So basically, the thought process is you would always want like a welcome section. And by the way, if you're building like a Discord community as well, like this is probably very useful to you as well, because like we're just helping you plan out your different spaces and figure out how you might want to section off things so that it makes it very easy for people to navigate within your space. So start here section, basically permissions will be, and let me just use the proper permission management that they have. So for example, I'm just going to go ahead here and look at options, permissions. So these are all the different permissions that we could possibly have. Allow member script posts. I think we can do a moderator's channel. Okay, so let me just screenshot this for a second because I want to represent this inside my table, because my table is going to be my source of truth from now on. So I'm going to re-implement this inside my table. So permissions. So I think general permissions will be, these are all check marks. So allow members to add others. This will be a check mark. Okay, and then we're going to do a bunch of things that are, so we're going to duplicate this. Allow members post. Okay, and then we'll keep doing this. So duplicate, allow post title. I don't really know when I would not allow post title, to be honest, but that's interesting. Duplicate, allow cover images. Hide all posts from featured areas. And show to log out visitors. And then if you want to hide members count, that's another one as well. Hide members count. Perfect. And then there we go. So these are all different things we might want to do permissions wise. And later on, we can also talk about notifications as well. Actually, let's do it now. So we're going to do a select property, notifications. Actually, there's a multi-select. So right here, we're going to do email in app mobile. Okay, so these are all the different notifications that we could possibly have. And now we can get started. So I was thinking that we would have a start here. And by the way, as I talk about this, let's just build it out loud. So I think it's better. But basically, one thing that I'm missing, as you can think about this when I'm going through, is that we're still missing a chance to make it gamified. Like I still want to have, like previously we had gamified elements, like we had a tavern, right, where people will come in and that's where everyone starts talking. We would have a great hall where people will come in and stream to each other and then co-work or whatever. We had a library and stuff like that. So I want to keep that trend going. So as we go through, as I'm going to keep thinking about how we can implement that. But basically right now, we're thinking that we have a start here section, which is like a course basically. So let me just also do that now together. So I think the welcome section is probably like the Adventurers Guild, I think. Yeah, actually, I think this is cool. Okay. Let's try this way. Yes, let's try this way. So the Adventurers Guild is the welcome section here. So we're gonna have a start here section. So I'm gonna add a space. It's gonna be a course. Let's try that. And then let's call this okay, so if you imagine this, let's think of it this way. Okay, so I just joined the community. Now I'm getting my guild card. Let's think of it as that setting, right? I'm getting my guild card. To get my guild card, I need to actually go through a test, right? I need to be tested by another adventurer. But before I get tested by an adventurer, this is the study material for that. I think it's okay for me to put this like this, but I want to think about how to do this. So how do I edit lessons, right? So lessons will be potentially yeah, it's very interesting actually. Okay, let me make some notes here then. So the notes here basically is my way of putting in information on how this will work. So start here, ideally the start here section is, I learn enough about the guild so that you can succeed in our community. Yeah, learn. So ideally, like this is like where you can learn everything about the guild, like who's in here, what do we do here, etc., etc. So I think that can be very cool. Introduce yourself, I think, is straightforward. But okay, again, how do I make this gamified? Introduce yourself. Yeah, I think it's good for now. But introduce yourself is going to be another thing there. Then resources. Do we need resources after that now? Then because this is already teaching you about the community. I think maybe I will tie in the welcome and the general together. No resources. Okay, so basically, okay, get access to our exclusive community benefits, right? Yeah, I think this is exclusive community benefits. So okay, so let's do community resources. So we're gonna go ahead and make a new space. We'll call that a post channel. And we're gonna call this one community resources. We're gonna create the space now, and then ideally community resources here. And then we're going to make it a customize, and we're gonna make this a card. The reason is because we're gonna go ahead and add resources like this is your, Notion team space. Let me just create. So Notion team space, right, as an example. So we have Notion team spaces that's there. And then we're gonna keep adding more and more stuff that are community resources that people can benefit from if they're part of our community. So I think that's important. So community resources, introduce yourself. Okay. Yeah, the start here can be like an interesting start to the course. Okay, so introduce yourself is let the rest of the community know who you are, where you are from, etc. So usually when you first join a guild, you would announce like, hey, this is me, this is who I am. I think this should be a very straightforward process. So the introduce yourself makes a lot of sense here. Now what I'm thinking about is, do we have another general space here? And I don't think so. So adventurers guild, it's like this, right? So we have everything there. I think announcements, events calendar, help desk can all be part of the guild itself. Yeah, so the guild provides these resources. Then we can go dungeoning, right? In action. Then knowledge is about like the library, reading stuff, researching stuff. Community is going to be like our like community spaces. Yeah, I think the gamified element needs to be thought about a bit more. But for now, let's put this stuff in. Okay, so we have the tavern should be a place too. So announcements. Okay. I got it. Okay, let's stick to welcome for that. Okay, let's stick to welcome. And I'm going to explain why. But let's stick to welcome here. So welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and now create a new space group. And we're going to call this one Adventurers Guild. So Adventurers Guild is going to be a new space here. And then this one is going to have our events calendar. Oops. How do I move this? So customize, and I want to move this to a different section. Am I allowed to do that? I should be. Really? Wait, I can't move things from one section to another? That's ridiculous. Let me see. I'm gonna refresh this. Uh-huh. Okay, events calendar. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, I need to rebuild these if I want them to move. Oh, wow. That seems very restrictive, actually. Let me see how there's really no other way. Because there's really no other way. That's really annoying. Wow. Okay, let's see. Circle.so move space to different space group. Okay, edit space details. Okay, I knew that couldn't be it. So customize options. Space header, edit space. There's no edit space here. So let's see. Ah, here. Okay, space group. Found it. Wow, okay, Adventurers Guild, let's go there. So that's part of that. I don't need this example. I don't think it's needed. So we're gonna delete this. Well, maybe, let's see. Maybe that'll be useful. So Tavern is gonna be a chat channel. So we're gonna go ahead and move this as well. So Tavern is going to be a chat channel inside Adventurers Guild. Okay, so Tavern is a chat channel to discuss anything. Less formal conversations. So this is chat. Okay. So then we have announcements. So announcements is going to go there. There was an announcements here, but I think we're just going to use this one, repurpose it. So we're going to use our customize Adventurers Guild. So the announcements will be right there. And then we're going to have, I'm going to start adding the emojis as well. So I want this to be a loudspeaker. Okay. And then where we post important information relevant to the community. Help desk. Members can ask questions to help them succeed with our resources. Events calendar is, it's very straightforward. It is events that are upcoming for the community. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and do that. So announcements, help desk, event calendar. So help desk needs to be another space. For this one, for sure, it's going to be for this one, it's for sure going to be a list view. So customize, I want to see list view, write this. So it's a list view now, so people can start throwing in help desk things. There's going to be an events calendar here. There's going to be a tavern here. That's pretty cool so far. Okay, cool. So then now we have these spaces. Honestly, Adventurers Guild, I'm still debating whether tavern is useful or not, but I think it's good for now. But most of these, I will not be able to, people will not be able to post into them. So other than introduce yourself, of course, right? So we need some way to indicate that people can post or people cannot post in this space. I think that's something to figure out later on. The tavern is just for small talk. And then what happens is now we have a knowledge space. So I'm going to rename this one to be the knowledge space, I think. It's fine. Let's just delete this whole space group. This is another announcement space, yeah. So let's just delete this first. So let's delete this space. And then we're going to these spaces. How do I rename this? Edit space group, there you go. I'm going to delete this as well, just so that we have a clean start to this one. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a space group. We're going to call this one knowledge, right? So this is going to be where all our different knowledge spaces are going to be categorized under. So now in our knowledge space, we might want to talk about the Writers Guild, Digital Community Garden, DGC. So that's going to be that section. We're going to have tools for thought, and then we're going to have Writers Guild. So this is discussions about content that Book3 is writing, discussions about the DGC, Digital Garden Collective, Digital Garden Collective. Okay, so now we can go ahead and make these all posts. So these are all going to be posts, so we can all discuss specifically. And then what we have here is we can do post Writers Guild, just like that. And then we're going to do another space, another post space. We're going to call this one Tools for Thought. then we're going to add another space as well. Ideally, we should have a space for people to throw in like what they've been reading so far. So like new learnings and stuff. Pseudo Garden Collective BBC. Okay, I think that's cool. So these are where people are writing stuff. This is our writing for the community. Tools for thought. I'm debating if it should be a tools for discussions about tools or discussion about what I've learned recently. I think it's better to have like a, yeah, what I learned recently channel. Let me think for a second. So here, I can add one more space. I don't mind having 4 here, but should it be a chat channel for discussions about things I've learned recently? Hmm. I guess what I learned recently. Recent learnings. So it's a post channel, so people can discuss on them. I think that makes sense. And then tools for thought. You can discuss like Notion, we can discuss other stuff like that. I think we can have that in Adventurers Guild for now. For now, let's delete the space. Just because we want simplicity when we first start off this community. We don't want too many channels to overwhelm the user. So for now, we want simplicity right here. So let's go ahead and do that. So instead of tools for thought, we're going to call this one recent learnings. Now share recent learnings. Yeah, so this one's discussion about content that we're writing. Discussions about published content and upcoming content from poetry. I think this is going to be a nice place for us to discuss like, hey, we had this video go out. What do we all think about it, etc., etc. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, we can use that space as well for something like that. We're gonna have an action space now, so let's go ahead and do an action space. So let's do an action space, and then action space will be right here. I think all those things that I just saw can, yeah, nice. I can still edit these. That's great. Okay, so an action space basically is going to consist of a world boss. So world bosses, like that, world bosses. We're gonna have another space here. It's gonna be called Coix3 Toolbox. So Coix3 Toolbox. So any of our tools, this is where our discussions for all our tools will happen here. Make work fun. So anything to do with gamifying life. Make work fun. If you want to gamify our life, you can have discussions here. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and do the rest here. So community will be nonprofit stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this one. So let's call this one community. I'll put it here. And then we're going to have stuff like the nonprofit stuff here. So let's go ahead and, yeah, let me just delete these spaces so that I don't get lost with these. So delete this space as well. And then we delete this space as well. So we're gonna have nonprofit infrastructure, life in motion, party quests. So let's go. non-profit infrastructure. So these are discussions we can have here, and then another space here, life in motion. So life in motion is going to be gallery view for sure. Life in motion. And then we can have party quests. Party quests. I think let's be more specific. That one's gonna be called share wins. Okay, let's do just slash party quest slash share challenges. And this one is life in motion slash share your wins. The options. Okay, very cool. So yeah, it's very interesting. Should we go direct with our wording? I think we could. I think we really should actually. Yeah, I'll work on that in a bit. Patron VIP space, behind the scenes, exclusive resources, and then ask Conrad. I think here, behind the scenes, exclusive content, exclusive resources. We're gonna customize this. Exclusive resources here. We're gonna save this. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add one more space into here. And then we're gonna add this one. Let's do it this way. Now this can be a chat channel. Okay, so links is where we're gonna have links here. And I think we're gonna use this more. Yeah, so don't worry, we'll use this more. It'll be probably linking you to like different spaces within each community. But yeah, so far I think this is pretty nice. I think what's left to do right now that we have all these spaces kind of set up, at least to begin with, right, is now we want to go ahead and start adding some small customizations. I think that most of the customizations I want to do will be done later on, so I don't have to waste too much time on stream to do it. But basically, I just wanted to really start off strong with having a let's see. Okay, wait, I refreshed this. So I need each page needs to be saved by itself. Got it. It's party quest, share challenges. So we're gonna go ahead and customize this. Share challenges. Yeah, share challenges needs to be saved. And then we need to go ahead here and edit options for share challenges. Perfect. Okay, share wins are a nonprofit structure. So that's what we're going to talk about. That world bosses, fight world bosses, or challenge world bosses. I like fight world bosses. It's actually quite nice as a term. Okay, and then Coach Free Toolbox. Okay. So I think the way that we should think about this, now that I see this gamified, I see the gamified approach that we can do. Basically, we come here, all right? You're welcomed into the guild. You start here. You get a crash course, right? You introduce yourself to the community. Everyone knows who you are. You get community resources that are, vital to help you, build yourself up and be prepared. Then you join the Adventurers Guild. Basically, it's like this mishmash of space where you can get like administrative help. You can see announcements, you can see the events calendar, you can see a help desk, you can see a tavern. Basically, it's a community center for the adventurers, right? Then you go in and say, hey, I want to build more knowledge. I want to build my resources up. I want to increase my intellect points, right? Or my wisdom points. So we can go learn from other people, recent learnings from each other. Writers Guild, right? You can help create more content for the library of content we have. You can collaborate on cultivating pieces of knowledge together through the Digital Garden Collective. Awesome. Then you have action, right? You would want to fight world bosses together, right? But to do that, you need equipment, right? So equipment is going to be the Cloak toolbox. You're going to figure out what the equipment is available there. Then you're going to figure out how to also make it really fun, right? So you can keep engaged on the journey. That's really cool. So I think Cloak toolbox first, make work fun, then you fight world bosses. So you get the gear, you get motivated, then you fight the world boss together. Community-wise, you can then share your wins, you can share challenges, so you feel like you're part of the community, you can talk to each other, and then you can finally discuss on your nonprofit structure to help everybody else also level up within our community space as well. Then we have stuff like the VIP space where patrons can have behind-the-scenes content, they can exclusive resources, maybe they can ask me questions. So maybe ask questions. Ask Connor, ask questions. I think better just chat with us. Ask questions. No, but ask questions you can already help in the help desk, right? I'll have VIP chat for now. Let's see what we can do better here. So VIP chat. Okay, so let's change that. Okay, perfect. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add, maybe I'll one more space later on. That's more to do with our Family Without Borders space, because I want that to be integrated here as well in some way. But I think that's later on. We'll handle that later. But for now, basically what we have is a very comprehensive list of our circle spaces. So we've implemented them. But now we need to figure out all our different permission management. So before I jump into permission management, and I'm only going to do it on Notion. I'm not going to do it on Circle just yet because it's going to be more complicated. But I also want to figure out, like, for the entire section, can I do permission management for the entire group? So edit group. Hide from non-space members. So I need to figure out group permissions. So let's figure out, so I'm going to do another table. Oops, that's not the table I want. Let's do another table here. Make a new database. Let's call this one Circle Groups. So we have a welcome, we have a general, we have a knowledge action community. Knowledge action community. And then we have patron, VIP space. And then we have finally a family border space. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this, and this one is going to be now a relation. So relation to circle group spaces. Circle groups, add relation spaces. Okay, so now we can do welcome here. So welcome is copy and paste. Then we have general here. General is copy and paste. We have knowledge here. Knowledge is copy and paste. We have action here. Copy and paste. Community here. Copy and paste. And then patron VIP space. Copy paste. And later on we'll have Family Without Borders. So now we can kind of delete this now. And we can have space group instead being our group thing. So we do group by space group. And then same thing here, we should sort manual. So, oops. So welcome, all knowledge, action, community. There we go. No space group hide. Perfect. So now what we have here is we don't wrap column here. And what we can do now is we can also have space group permissions. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these. So ideally, we actually have everything plotted out here. So what we want to do here now is we want to go ahead and add a moderator as well. So moderator. And then we're going to do some checkboxes. So check hide from non-space members. Okay, we're going to duplicate this now. Only show join spaces in the sidebar. So that's to keep things less cluttered. Allow members to create spaces. And then automatically add members to new spaces within group. And then automatically add members to this group when they join a space inside it. And that is a checkbox. Okay, so now we have a bunch of stuff here. So these are our spaces, moderators, so on and so forth. Later on, we'll probably have to do workflows as well. We're gonna have to figure out like what workflows are appropriate for each space. And I'll talk about that probably in another stream. But right now we have all these spaces, and I think so. Yeah, so I think there might be more thinking that needs to happen here for exactly how these spaces are properly handled. But let's also just double check one more thing here for each individual space. What can we do here? So feed list card, that's subtype that we can do. Sidebar members block. Wow, there's so many things you can do here. That's crazy, actually. We can do one more thing, which is slug. So text slug. So that's a slug that we can use here as well. I definitely want to do something like subtype. So let's do that. So subtype. So post basically, oh, well, I think it'll be better if I just started from scratch then. I'm going to make a new select property, and it's going to be called subtype. And this new subtype basically is going to be saying, hey, this is going to be a feed list, or so feed list or gallery. So gallery is here. Okay, wow. So let's start throwing in all these different permissions. I'll try to be as brief as possible and just go high level first, because I think there's a lot to do here if I really wanted to. And yeah, even here is like, wow, I can do like non-members, how would they review the space, etc. Like it can be so complicated. Pin post label, default member. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Oh, they can probably resort posts as well themselves too. Okay, cool. So definitely like things that need to be hidden or stuff like that, we can figure out now as well. So let's edit the space group as well. Let's just see what this is. So if they join a group, if they join a space, they can see the whole group. Members in the space will I see. Okay. I think for most part, these are all off for now, until we figure out how to use these better. People should be specifically joining their specific groups, I think. Yeah. Um, then we have, for example, individual spaces. So then let's go ahead and figure that out. So individual spaces, add members to add others, really don't see that as a thing. Allow members to create posts, these are all should be off. Post title, I think everything should have a post title. I don't think why there wouldn't be any post title. Like other than like, yeah, when would you not use post title? I don't know. So for now, let's just go ahead and check these all off. These are all post titles are allowed. Allow cover images. So do we need cover images for everything? Well, I don't think there's cover images for non-post channels, just to be clear. So actually chat events is off. How about events? Is there something like that for events? Yeah, there's nothing like that for events. Okay, nothing like that for events. Post, chat. Okay, cover images, hide all posts from future areas. I think I need to double check what that looks like because I'm not 100% sure what that is. Yeah, introduce yourself shouldn't be shown to all logged out visitors. Start here. Could possibly be. Yeah, this is, I don't think that's appropriate. Cover images. Introduce yourself doesn't need to cover images. Community resources does. Yep, that could use cover images. No cover images for that. That's correct. We don't need cover images, I think. I mean, it's just more dynamic if we have them. It's not a big deal. Same thing here. It's more dynamic if we have them. Share challenges and then share wins. I think these could definitely use cover images. That's nice. Nonprofit goes down here. Can allow cover images there. These ones for sure cover images. This is more about, let's see, what do we call it? VIP chat. Yeah, that's a chat channel. I don't think any of them, I think all of them will be shown to, like help desk should be shown to log out visitors. I think that's fine. Announcements as well. Events calendar, I don't know, maybe. Tavern, I think we can keep private as well. Okay, I think there's more things there. High member count, I don't think that matters. Yeah, I don't think that matters. Okay, cool. So hopefully you guys can understand a bit about how I think about like managing spaces. And you can see that it can get very involved if you start really going deeper and deeper into, you know, the funnel, I guess, into how you're going to figure out how to make the space that works best for your community. And every community is gonna be different. So I wanna be clear, like there's no perfect way. But I do definitely want you guys to understand, like, you really want to, there's like 3-step process here. The first step is figure out like what kind of spaces are important to you, right? What kind of feeling do you want to enact in your community members when you go ahead and build a space, what that space should be, and how do you not duplicate them across? Like, should you have an announcements channel in every single space group? Probably not, right? That might make things very cluttered. So how do you avoid chaos? And then the third thing is then how do you make it so that the right people get the right information at the right time? So like if I am just joining into the community, is it appropriate for me to see everything? Is it going to be very conducive for me to see everything? And that's what we're going to talk more about inside our workflows, of course, inside our role building as well. But definitely got to think about like, hey, if I just first join, like what should I do? And only after I do onboarding, then I can see more things or so on and so forth. Like how do I avoid overwhelm really early on into the space? So I hope this is helpful for you. Definitely you guys can start seeing this build up over time. We have a very exciting timeline for us in regards to how we're going to implement our new community space. Basically, this is our testing. First week of April, we're setting up all the required spaces automations. So by this weekend, people are going to see that there's going to be all the required spaces inside our community. Then the second week of April, which is coming up, we're going to migrate all our core community members over. So around 800 to 1,000 members inside our Guilded community. You guys are going to be invited over, very warmly welcomed into it. Third week of April, we're going to tweak the space based on feedback and invite the rest of the community. So floodgates are open. And then the fourth week of April, we're going to do a public launch and celebration on social media. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'll be very excited for you. So that's it. Hopefully you guys learned something new. Hopefully you guys are excited about our new community as well. Please do join us if you care about, co-creating and learning together. And just, knowing that you're not alone in this journey. We're always here to help you. We're always here to build together with you. And if there's anything we can do to help you make life better, let us know. But other than that, please take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.